I have another question from Charlotte Sarah Richards. And first of all, Charlotte Sarah Richards, I love your name. I love the name Charlotte. My sister's name is Sarah, spelled that way, and the last name Richards just sounds so classic, so I really like your name. So the question is actually also one of my favorite questions. So Charlotte, you sort of like won the daily like awesome person award on Hedge-Walker. I'm so caffeinated, guys. I'm having like a really good day too, so yay. If you could go back and give your witchling self some care and advice, what would it be? Oh man, that sort of like requires me to tell you about how I became a witch, and I really wish that Cheshire Pope on Tumblr was more active and I could, you know, like bounce my ideas off him more. I know that he's a very busy person. He works full time. You know, he's got his fiance and like all sorts of wonderful things happening for him. So the story starts that when I was very young, my mother was very into stones and herbs and the moon, and she was never very religious. She would always, when asked about her religion, because she actually works as a secretary at the college that I went to, and students would ask her about religion and stuff because they were close to her too, her response would always be just to be good to people, that she didn't care what your religion was as long as your religion was about being good to other people. So I obviously had these, like, a very good moral compass as a kid, even though my life was very tumultuous because my father was very into drugs and he was just not a lot of stuff, not a good guy. So then, you know, I did grow up a little bit Christian from my dad's side of the family, but when I was probably 10 or 11, my grandmother also became a very huge advocate for witchcraft specifically, and then also a lot of new age stuff that I wasn't so much into, but, you know, she gave me a beautiful handmade silver goddess bracelet and a necklace and some earrings, and I don't know if you guys know or not, but obviously I have a ton of things from her that I've shown you guys some of. Here's some of the beads that she gave me that I made into a necklace. So about that time I was like sort of curious, but I really had nowhere to start, and then my older sister Sarah was friends with Cheshire Pope in real life, and we also became friends in early high school, and he just totally threw open the doors to paganism and magic and like every kind of magic. You know, I dabbled in Wicca and New Age stuff. I dabbled in chaos magic and in ceremonial magic and all kinds of witchcraft and all kinds of earth-based magics. And of course, like anyone else, I went through a phase of intense journaling and doing and learning everything. And I don't, I think maybe that's why I have such a love of newcomers to witchcraft and to paganism, because they're just so full of like, oh, just let me do everything, and I'm so happy to be here. And I'm like, we're so happy to have you, and like, it's okay if you get the words wrong. Like, let me hug you and touch you. Yeah. So I wish more newcomers would come to me and like talk to me about stuff. So if you're new and you want to like talk to me, come talk to me. I'm a really nice person, especially when I'm like super caffeinated. So anyway, so he really got me into all this stuff, and then, you know, through high school I sort of refined my craft, and by the end of high school I was pretty well cemented into hedgecraft, because from a very young age I had had a lot of experiences with not only with death and dying, but also with spirit communication. I loved, once I got to college, my high school boyfriend and I broke up in November, and that next September I was already dating my next boyfriend, and that September my high school boyfriend committed suicide, unfortunately, and he had hung himself, and I had a lot of experiences, very scary experiences, dealing with that, and then my new boyfriend, wonderful guy, he took me ghost hunting for the first time. It was a passion of his, and so then, since then, I have gone ghost hunting with him and with others. I believe Cheshire Pope has come with us before. Pope, you want to fill me in? I don't actually remember. Those were some really long nights. A lot of Gatorade. So through college then, actually this would be my senior year of high school, I joined the Pagan Fellowship at my college through Cheshire Pope, and the rest is pretty much, you guys know about. I was in this pagan group, blah blah blah, I've refined my skill more. So to my earliest self, I guess the advice that I would give is to find people with whom you resonate. Find people who, whenever you're near them or around them, you're just like, God, they're just so great. They are kind to people. They have the same moral compass as me. They are open to talking about stuff. They never make me feel small or insecure, because there are so many people in this community, and it's so unfortunate, who just take this idea of like, it's not my job to be a part of this community. It's not my job to give back. It's not my job to educate you. And obviously in certain circumstances like racism and sexism, like yes, you should be educating yourself. But when it comes to paganism and witchcraft specifically, there are so few resources for young people out there. So I wish I had told my younger self to go out into the community and try to find more people. I didn't grow up with the internet. I actually barely used a computer until I was 19, so I had a lot of catching up to do, and I still have a lot of catching up to do. You will notice that none of my videos are edited. I'm learning how to use a Mac right now. So exciting. I've had it for like 2 years and I'm still just learning it. Other advice I would give is to just not take things too seriously, not get caught up in this idea that you have to come before your gods or your practice or your idea of divinity as perfect, that you don't have to wait until you have the perfect ritual dress to do this ritual. You don't have to wait until the perfect spring day to do the spring ritual. You don't, like, you're not a temporary person. You don't have to wait until you lose weight to photograph yourself in a way that you feel good, like visually. Like whether it's like wearing your pentacle or your big chunky necklaces or all your little bangles or whatever, that there is no perfect pagan, and that if you have a mental illness, if you're overweight, if you eat McDonald's every day, if you fall off the wagon, if you're addicted to something, if you are depressed, I mean, just like anything, that doesn't make you less of a witch or less of a pagan, and that the goal of our existence is not perfection, it's betterment, betterment of our spiritual, emotional, physical, sexual selves. And that's, unfortunately as a kid I was pretty insecure, and a lot of, sorry I'm bumping this, a lot of the things that I practiced, I was like, I can't wait until someday when I'm like thin and pretty and I can wear all these ritual dresses, or oh my gosh, I can't wait until I can say all these rhymes without messing them up and then I'll be a good witch, or I can't wait until I own all these cool tools and then I'll be a good witch, because I would say that I was a much more eager, outgoing, and proficient hedge witch at probably 16 than I am now in my 20s, but I'm working on it, and it's always a journey of self-improvement. So that's the advice that I would give to my young self. If you guys have advice for witchlings or young baby pagans or baby heathens or whatever, you guys can comment below, or you can inbox me on my Tumblr, and then I can read it on a video and talk more about it as well. So if you guys don't have a question but you just have like a discussion that you want to be part of the discussion, I'd certainly love to read that on a video, so you guys can like send me a long fan mail or two. I can read it and respond, and like we can have a monologue that way, or make a reaction video. That's also an option. I want this channel to be a community for people to come to and talk. I don't want it to just be me talking. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope that my answer is sufficient for you, Charlotte.